Abba Father, Yahweh Elohim, Olive Abraham, Yashak, and Yaakov. Covenant Father, we come before you once again as your humble servants, trying to rightly divide your scriptures, Yah. We ask that you guide us, Yah. We ask that you put your spirit of understanding, knowledge, wisdom on us so that we could seek and find those things that have been hidden, that you promised would be unsealed in the end times, Yah. As we dive into this calendar, Yah, there's so much confusion. We ask humbly, Yah, that you acknowledge our obedience, Yah, that we are trying to find your way, Yah, that we are trying to do things according to the way you do it in heaven, Yah. And the heathen has put a lot of confusion and error in our way, Yah, and teaching us the ways of the heathen. So we ask humbly that you help us unlearn those things, and we ask that you keep us in a state of humility, knowing that even at our best, we don't have all the answers. So, Yah, we dive into this, Yah, with full obedience unto you, Yah. And if we make any mistakes, Yah, that's of us, and any truth, that's of you, Yah. So we thank you, and we dedicate this class unto you through your holy, humble, anointed Son, Yahweh Shai, in which all praise, majesty, might, and dominion resides through you, the Savior word of Yah, through Yahweh Shai. We thank and pray to you, Yahweh alone. Amen. All right, shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharah. I'm with my brother Wesley Yasharah. Shalom. And we are Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Yisrael. And the title of our class today is called The Enochian Calendar. The Enochian Calendar. And, there's a lot of disputes on the calendar and what we're supposed to do and the tradition of things, and we've been doing a lot of things the way that we were taught, and we weren't doing things according to scripture and according to the Sefer writings. So many of us that were kicked out of camps and had to learn on our own, we're able to break free of some of the camp doctrines, some of the traditions that we follow, some of the Jewish traditions, and actually look at some of these writings and to critique and to just look at simple things, simple mathematics, and see, simple mathematics shows that this does not add up. So in doing so, we found ourselves closer to getting the correct calendar. Do we have the correct calendar? We don't know. All we know is that this is the information. We're presenting the best information that we have. And I haven't met anybody or come across anybody that has more accuracy. And that's not only just in the calendar, how it falls, but also how it lines up with the holy days and how it lines up with prophecy. So we're going to get into that a little bit. I know a lot of people are doing new moon and, on the lunar doctrine. We have classes on that to show you how that is not mathematically possible. If we just break it down real quick, if you look up what the lunation of the moon is, which is a full lunar month, it is 29 and a half day average with 12 moons. So that means your year with 12 moons will be 354 days. If you use 13 moons, being that you call a moon a month and you say 13 months in a year, you have 383 and a half days, almost 384 days. It just does not add up. So something is wrong. I don't care if you use a full moon, dark moon, sliver moon, it's not adding up. So when something doesn't add up, we know that's not of the Father because he's a perfection. So we have to find what is the right thing to do. And it's not to say throw the moon out. No, the Father created. It's a luminary. It has its purpose for times, seasons, days, and years. That's what the lights are for. But just like a clock, you wouldn't look at a clock and say, it's on the 12 hand and it must be 12 o'clock. No, there's other things you have to look at. What does the little hand say? The hour hand says, oh, no, it's 3 o'clock. You have to have the hour hand and the minute hand on the same thing to be 12 o'clock. So we're going to get into that and take a look at that. So you're going to need to get into Jubilees. You're also going to need to get into Enoch. That's what we're going in today. And it'll also help if you have your 2021 calendar. Your 2021 calendar, so that we can try to calculate what the months are, because the months don't correspond with the January, February, March. It doesn't work that way. The Hebrew month is the Hebrew month, and the Babylon month is the Babylon month. But if you put them together at once and use one to measure the other, you can find where you are in a Hebrew calendar on a Babylon calendar, or where you are in a Babylon calendar with a Hebrew calendar. So first we need to understand how many days are in the year, how many months, how many weeks, and so forth and so on. So we want to open up in Jubilees. Jubilees, chapter 6. Yobelum, chapter 6. We want to go into Jubilees, Yobelum, chapter 6. And if you don't have access to Jubilees, you can always go to SaveYourWordOfYah.org, and we have access, free access to all these books. So what we're going to do is, again, this is going to be very focused on just the Enochian side of it. Again, when we have more time, we'll do a real broad one where we'll really discuss all the different differences between the lunar calendar, so forth and so on. So we're really just trying to highlight the most pertinent understanding on this calendar. So first, again, we're going to go into Jubilees, chapter 6, and we're going to go ahead and get an idea of what the calendar is looking like. All right, and we're going to start. Let me see where we're going to start. All right, if you go into the first chapter of Jubilees, Moshe is given the order. He's given the Jubilees from now until the end of eternity. He's given all the information. He's given the calendar, almost like how Enoch was given the calendar. He's being given the same thing. All right, so we're in Jubilees, chapter 6, and let's start this at verse 28. And this is talking about Noah after he's coming out of the ark.
And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever, and thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks, from one to another, past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets.
All right, so this is engraved in the heavenly tablets. The heavenly tablets is the skies. You know, we think the heavenly tablet is some book they got in heaven that we just hold in like, this is engraved. No, the heavenly tablet is the skies. This is engraved so that the servants of the Most High, which are the stars, the sun, the moon, and the angels that create the stars, they have to move according to Yah's order. So this is engraved. So there's 52 weeks, even weeks, 52 weeks of days. So a week is 7 days. So it's 52 sets of 7 days, 52 times 7 is going to give you 364 days. So there's 364 days in a full year. So this is what the Father ordained in the heavenly tablets. So where did they get this 365 or 366? That's man trying to justify having a midnight start, trying to justify having a new year in January, so forth and so on, that he got to move things around. Just like the heathen that stole our identity, they got a Adar too. They got a 12th month where every so often they got a 13th month. And they say just call it Adar too, so that they can keep up. Tamshi?
Verse 31. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And command you the children of Yasharal that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its times from its days and from its feasts. For everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast.
So it was important that we did not touch. That's one of the commandments, that you're not to add or remove from the word. So don't touch it. You disturb things when you change the calendar and try to figure out what you want to do. Now, in doing so, he said, listen, if you touch the calendar, you're going to mess up your holy days. You're going to mess up your Shabbat. And this is why you got people going into Enoch. They got a rotating Shabbat. The Shabbat move every year. It changed. Sometimes it's Tuesday this year. I think Yahweh ben Yahweh and them people do that, where it's Tuesday one year, it's Wednesday the next year, then Thursday. It just keeps moving. Then you got other people Enochian to say you looking at a moon and then 7 days from the moon. None of that is being told in Jubilees or being told in Enoch. People are adding their own understanding. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to go over this slowly so that we can understand that. Go ahead.
But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order, and they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Yasharal will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons and seasons and Shabbats, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years.
Right. So they'll forget all those things because they trying to change it. So they're not going to remember how to adjust it back to this because they've changed so many things. What is the need for daylight savings times? What is the need for that? It just causes confusion. You can't remember what was the original time. I lost an hour of sleep again. You can't even tell because it's all over the place. So these causes issues. Now, they are purposely trying to stop us from being aligned with our Father, because if we are, then we get blessed. We're sanctified. So they had to go in. Daniel chapter 9 talks about he would think to change times. So this is just something that we have to deal with. So we have to go back to the ancient way of things and say, I don't care what they say Babylon-wise. Let me use the heavenly tablets, the sun, moon, and stars, and the ancient writings to go back to the ancient way of doing things, because this was told to the children of Yasharal. We were supposed to do this. This is Moshe writing this. Go ahead.
Jubilees chapter 6 and verse 35. For I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto you. And it is not of my own devising, for the book lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant, and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon.
So it's letting you know, how is the moon going to come in 10 days too soon if the moon is what's determining your year? It's telling you the moon is going to come in 10 days too soon. That means the lunar month is going to finish before the actual calendar annual year. So 354 is exactly how many days from what we're told a year is. 52 weeks of days is how many days short?
It's 10 days.
10 days short of 364 gives you 354, and exactly 29 and a half day average with 12 moons. How is that possible? How is that possible that you're going to have a new moon start your month every month when your year, according to the lunar calendar, is 10 days too short? Would you just go to do 12 moons, then just throw 10 days? And then how are you going to know? Because it's going 10 days behind. If you take a clock and you put it 5 minutes behind, it's constantly behind. It don't just automatically catch up. It's behind. Now, in 36.4 years, the 10 days add up, and then you'll eventually get close, but it's going to be off. So how can you just wholesale? You got to wholesale throw out whole books in order to make this lunar doctrine work.
Verse 37, Jubilees chapter 6. For this reason the years will come upon them when they would disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day, and they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Shabbats and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to you, that you may testify to them. For after your death your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only, and for this reason they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Shabbats and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh.
All right, so it's talking about, notice it's talking about they will go wrong with the new moons. That's the translation. It would have said Hodesh, which is new month, but because the lunar worshiping, sun worshiping, pagan worshiping translators, when they put this in English, they decided to make it moon for you.
So I got a question. Mm-hmm. So now we know that it says the children would go off as to all the appointed times. Mm-hmm. How does this tie into them consuming the blood and flesh of different creatures? Absolutely.
So when you start to decide that you are going to do things the way you want to do it versus the way that YAH says, it's making you an unholy vessel. It's turning days that are supposed to be holy into unholy days, because now it's not getting the proper. So you're allowing all kind of spirits to now enter into you because you're a vessel of disobedience. Because it says, if you do good, will you not be accepted? But if you don't, sin lies at the door. Wow. And unto you will it be your desire. So this is what happens. Once you start doing this, it's going to ultimately go into you eating what you want, doing what you want, hanging out, doing whatever, because, hey, I'm doing what I want. And you're not in the hedge of protection anymore. Because you look at, it literally says in Jubilees, I want to say chapter 15, it literally talks about that if you don't keep the Passover, or Jubilees 49, if you don't keep the Passover, then the plagues come on you. So it's actually of being obedient to the Father and doing it as it is done in heaven to the best of your ability is what's keeping these plagues and these things off of you. So while people is rushing to go get a vaccine, that's not going to keep the plague off of you. Obedience to the Father is going to, being covered under the blood, that's what's keeping the plague off of you.
All right, that makes sense.
All right. So now people think that that's, far off, but that's exactly what happens. Once you start slipping here and there, it talks about a little bit of leaven leavens the whole lump. Then all of a sudden, generation down, because you're not in the hedge of protection of the Father, you're no longer serving him in spirit and truth. Next thing you know, your children eating pork. That's how we ended up eating pork. We're in slavery. We're doing all these different things. It's because we disrespected the Father.
Come on.
All right, so let's go to Enoch, the book of Enoch. Now, the book of Enoch has several different versions, the way they broke down the chapters. So it's going to be either chapter 70, 71, or 72. It depending on what version you have, they're going to break it down. But it's going to be about the book of the itinerary of the luminaries of heaven is how it's going to start.
So which chapter?
72. Enoch chapter 71 or 72. It depends on how it looks in your book. And this is going to be talking about the sun, the book of the itinerary of the luminaries of heaven. So this is where, if you go and read the beginning of Enoch, this is the brother that was taken away. He was taken up. And when he was taken up, he was given this type of information. Enoch would have been able to pass this down to Noah, and then it would have been passed down to Shem and Eber, and then Abraham, Esau, Jacob, so forth and so on to the 12 tribes, all the way into Moshe, who was kind of lost, and then he's refining this again and being given all this when he's going on to the mount. So Enoch is the one who had this information first. And when you look at the Enochian calendar is the only calendar that the author at least claims that Yahweh gave him that information. Nobody else claims. Everybody other calendar got some pagan name. The lunar calendar, Luna, pagan god. The solar calendar, Solar, the pagan god. The Gregorian calendar, Gregory, the Pope Gregory. The Julian calendar, Julius Caesar. All of them is pagan. This is the only calendar system that they actually claim, that's what they claim, that it was given from the Most High. So that has to count for something.
All right. Enoch chapter 72, verse 1. The book of the itinerary, an itinerary is like a course of action or a plan, of luminaries of heaven, the position of each and every one, in respect to their ranks, in respect to their authorities, and in respect to their seasons, each one according to their names and their places of origin, and according to their months, which Uriel, the Kodesh Malach, who was with me, and who also is their guide, showed me, just as he showed me all their treatises, and the nature of the year of the world unto eternity, to the new creation which abides forever is created.
So even back then, they're talking about a new heaven and a new earth, a new creation which abides forever. That's the stone kingdom. This is what Daniel was given to be able to read. Nebuchadnezzar's dream was talking about this new creation which is going to abide forever. So he's given all the calendar, all the jubilees of time, everything. He's being given this.
This is the first commandment of the luminaries. The sun is a luminary whose egress is an opening of heaven, which is located in the direction of the east, and whose ingress is another opening of heaven located in the west.
All right, so I know we are taught in a European pagan mind frame that the earth spins around and the sun stays still and we all go around the sun. That's not true. The earth stays still and the sun and moon move in and out of these openings. It comes out the east, enters from the east, and it exits in the west.
I saw 6 openings through which the sun rises and 6 openings through which it sets.
All right, so these 6 openings are the gates that the sun goes in. The best way to explain that, and we're going to keep it real simple, is, if you drive to work every day, in certain parts of the year when you're driving in the morning, if you're going towards the east, the sun is hitting you dead in the eye at an angle. Or when you're going home and it's setting, it's hitting you dead in the eye at an angle. And then maybe in the wintertime, it's a little different. It's not hit, in the summertime, it's not hitting you dead in the eye. It's at a different angle because the gates are the angles in which the sun. So if the earth is like this and the sun is going east to west, east to west, east to west, it's traveling through gates like a rainbow. And the rainbow is moving at angles like this, at angles. So it's not necessarily just a rainbow, but a rainbow at an angle. And as it's going like this, when you take a light and you put it up real high, it lights up a bigger area. But if you take a flashlight, and you put it real low, it only lights up a certain area. So that's how the sun works. When it's in the winter, it's real short and small. So it's only heating up a small area. But when you're in the summertime, it's up higher And it's almost, that's why noon is the hottest time of the day, because the sun is directly above you. So the higher, the higher the angle and the further it is, the hotter it is, the more heat is hitting up your area. So that's what those 6 openings are.
The moon also rises and sets through the same openings, and they are guided by the stars, together with those whom they lead. They are 6 in the east and 6 in the west heaven. All of them are arranged one after another in a constant order. There are many windows both to the left and the right of these openings. First, there goes out the great light, whose name is the sun. Its roundness is like the roundness of the sky, and it is totally filled with light and heat.
All right, so it's totally filled with light and heat, and its roundness is like the roundness of the sky. So it's letting you know the sky is round too. A dome, just like what the sun looks like, a dome. Go ahead.
The chariot on which it ascends is driven by the blowing wind. The sun sets in the sky in the west and returns by the northeast in order to go into the east. It is guided so that it shall reach the eastern gate and shine in the face of the sky. In this manner, it rises in the first month through the major gate. It proceeds through this gate, which is the 4th among those 6 openings, which are located in the direction of the east.
All right, so if you have pen and paper, this is what we're going to write down. We're going to write down these gates. So there's 6 gates, and the sun goes through each gate twice. So in the first month of the year, which we went in the previous class, which is Abib, which is which they call the springtime, this is the 4th gate of where the sun is coming through. So when the sun is passing through going into the 4th gate, coming down and coming back up into the 4th gate, that's going to be the beginning of the year. All right, so we're going to go here and we're going to write 12 months. We're going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to write 12 months like that. And then you also want to have a calendar, because we're going to translate that. So write 12 months, just like that. So on the first month of the year, it goes through the major gate, which is the 4th gate. So on the first month, you want to write 4th gate. All right. So you got your first month, 4th gate. So that's a bib. You could even write a bib if you want. A bib, first month. It's going in the 4th gate. That's where it starts. And what Enoch is going to break down is Enoch's going to break down how long the sun is going to be in each gate. And how long it's in each gate determines how long your month is. And we're going to see there's going to be a pattern here. And when there's a pattern, it's simple. You can do mathematics. You can count. If it doesn't change, you can count, and it's always going to get you to the same place. Go ahead.
Continue reading.
Yes, sir.
Enoch chapter 72 and verse 7. By this 4th gate, through which the sun rises during the first month, there are 12 open windows from which a flame flows when they are opened at the appropriate time. When the sun rises in the east in the sky, it goes out through this 4th gate for 30 mornings and descends faithfully through the 4th gate in the western sky.
All right, so we know in the first month, it goes 30 days in that gate. So that means Abib, the month of Abib, has 30 days. So again, Abib, month 1, 4th gate, 30 days. That's how many days. And what we're going to do is find out how many days are in each month. That's the first thing we're doing, finding out how many days are in each month of the year according to the ancient Sefer writings. All right.
During those 30 days, the daily becomes longer during those 30 days, the day daily becomes longer and the night nightly shorter for 30 days. On that day, the day is longer than the night by 1/9, so the day turns out to be exactly 10 parts and the night to be 8 parts.
All right, so we can get into those parts. There's 18 parts in a day, okay, according to Enoch. Now, a part is not equal to an hour, obviously, because there's 24 hours. So there's less. So a part is actually longer than an hour. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. But go ahead.
The sun rises from that fourth eastern gate and sets in the fourth western one, and then it turns and comes into the fifth gate of the east for 30 days.
All right. So it goes out the fourth gate. Now it goes into the second month in the fifth gate. And it said another 30 days. So again, what we're simply trying to do is find out how many days are in each month of the year, according to Enoch. And then we got to figure out, well, how do we know when to start the first month? Once we know when to start the first month, then it's simply a mathematic calculation. Count, 30 days, so forth and so on, according to what's written.
Verse 12. At that time, the day further becomes longer and becomes 11 parts, and the night shortens and becomes 7 parts on account of the sun.
All right, so the night is shorter and the day is longer. So if you go back and examine that, it's showing you where you are in the seasons.
It then returns to the east and comes into the sixth gate, rising and setting through that sixth gate for 31 days, according to the principle of the gate.
All right, so your third month is the sixth gate. And notice this one said 31 days, because now you're in the last month of the beginning of what they call spring. So the beginning, the end of spring, that third month, there's 31 days. Because I'll cheat and give you a little head start here, is when you're going in from one quarter to the next quarter, one so-called spring into summer, and summer into fall, fall into winter, so forth and so on. And I'm saying so-called because it really, there's only 2 seasons according to this book, but they broke it into 4 seasons. So every time you're crossing over into a new season, the sun will take 1 day. And if you go into the Enoch deeper, they call those calendrical days that they add on there, which are extra days that 4 times for each season, those 4 days. That's how you get 364. And when you look at a prophetic year that they used in Daniel, it was 360 days. They didn't count those season days that change into. So first month, you got 30 days. Second month, 30 days. The third month of the year, you have 31 days. So all we need to do is find out, where is the first month? How do we know the first month? So we'll read through this and we'll be able to confirm how we know when the first month is.
Verse 14. On that day, the day becomes longer than the night still further, so the day becomes 12 parts, and the night shortens and becomes 6 parts. Then the sun is raised in such a way that its duration shortens and night occurs. The sun returns to the east and enters the sixth gate, rising and setting through it for 30 days.
All right. So it goes through which gate? Sixth gate again, right?
Right.
So it goes through the sixth gate again for 30 days. All right, so you should write that down. So you should have your fourth gate, 30 days, your fifth gate, 30 days, your sixth gate, 31 days. So it's going 4, 5, 6, then 6 again. That's going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, so forth and so on.
When 30 days are completed, the day decreases exactly by 1 part and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. Then the sun, leaving the west by the sixth gate and going to the east, rises through the fifth gate for 30 mornings and sets again in the fifth gate in the west.
All right, so the fifth month, you're in the fifth gate, 30 days again. So if we follow this pattern, then we should know that it should probably go to the fourth gate again, and it'll be 31 days because there's a pattern here. 30, 30, 31. 30, 30, and then the next month, 6th month, is going to be 31 days. We'll read it.
Verse 18. On that day, the day decreases by 2 parts, so the day becomes 10 parts, and the night 8 parts. Then the sun, departing from that 5th gate and setting in the 5th gate in the west, rises in the 4th gate for 31 days, according to the principle of the gate, and sets in the west.
All right, so the 6th month, 31 days. Again, started in the 4th gate, went to the 5th gate, then to the 6th gate, then went back down to the 6th gate, then went back down to the 5th gate, then went back down to the 4th gate. So it's gone through all these gates twice now. You're back into the 4th gate, which is the major gate. But that gate is your second time into that 4th gate.
Verse 20. On that day, the day is aligned with the night, so that they become equal. So the night becomes 9 parts and the day 9 parts.
All right, so you know in the 6th month of the year, which is halfway through the year, you're going to have what they call a equilux. An equilux. Now, what men like to call it, they like to call it equinox. And the problem with that is both words kind of mean the same thing. Equilux, lux light, means equal light. Equinox means equal night. So if you have equal light, you have equal night. So technically in the Greek word, it should mean the same thing, but the definitions are different. Equilux is when you have equal day and equal night. Equinox, if you look that up, is not when you have equal day and equal night. Equinox is when you have a shadow across the equator, giving you half of the earth in light and half of the earth in darkness. That's not equal day and equal night. That's not 12 hours day and 12 hours night, or 9 parts day and 9 parts night. So there's a problem with that. So this is again, when man adds his own understanding into something, it becomes a problem. When you're using man's understanding instead of using the description, and I don't care what you call it. You can call it equal. I was about to cuss. You can call it equal whatever. It don't change. It don't change. I don't care what you call it. It's what the occurrence is, where you have 12 hours day and 12 hours night. That happens about twice a year. And this time of the year that we're talking about here in this 6th gate, which is the 6th month, is the second closest time. There's going to be a time that's closer to equal day and equal night. Tom Sheet.
Then the sun, departing from that gate and setting in the west, returns to the east and comes out through the 3rd gate for 30 days and sets in the 3rd gate in the west.
All right, so in the 7th month, 30 days again in the 3rd gate. So you went 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3. So if you see the pattern here, you can pretty much guess where it's going to go next. But this is why I say write it down, because when you're reading it, it might not make as much sense. But when you write it down, you can, I'm a visual person myself. It makes more sense when you look at it.
On that day, the night becomes longer than the day. It becomes longer than the previous night, and the day becomes shorter than the previous day for 30 days. So the night turns out to be exactly 10 parts and the day to be 8 parts. Then the sun, departing from that 3rd gate in the west and returning to the east, comes out through the 2nd gate in the east for 30 days, and in the same manner it sets through the 2nd gate in the western sky.
All right, so in the 8th month, once again, 30 days. It's going to the 2nd gate. So these gates are just these portals, these openings, which is basically the angle that the sun is coming at. When it's up here, it's hot. When it's down here, going east-west, and just think about it. How long do you think it's going to take to go from here to here versus here to here? Which one do you think is going to take longer? This one or this one? Which one you think takes longer? A, this, or B, this? A or B?
Clearly B.
B. Because it takes longer to travel. That's why your day is longer. You're getting more sunlight. But when it's at a lower angle, it's quick. It don't take as long. You have less. The day is, the calendar day is still the same amount of time, but your daylight, your yom portion, the daylight portion is shorter or longer depending on that angle. So again, second gate, 30 days.
On that day, the night becomes 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. Then the sun, departing on that day from the second gate, and setting in the west in the second gate, returns to the east and rises in the first gate for 31 days, and sets on that day in the western sky.
All right, so the 9th month, 31 days, following that pattern, because Yah is a Elohim of order. It's hard enough for us to follow instructions. This is why he makes things very simple. But because of technology and because of the brain screw we've been taught, everything seems kind of confusing. But it's simple. Right there. 30, 30, 30. Even a child can count that. 4th gate, 5th gate, 6th gate. 6th gate, 5th gate, 4th gate, 3rd gate, 2nd gate, 1st gate. Now we're getting out of fall and we're getting ready to go into the winter time. We're going into the 10th month.
On that day, the night lengthens and becomes 12 parts, whereas the day shortens and becomes 6 parts. Thus the sun completes its appearances and goes through those same cycles of appearances a second time, coming out through all the openings for 30 days and setting also in the west opposite to it.
All right, so it's going again into the 1st gate. Did we get there yet?
Yeah, we went to the 1st gate.
So this is the second time. What verse are we in?
It's 27.
All right. So it went back into the 1st gate again. Go ahead.
It's interesting, it says a second time, and you brought out that year means a doubling.
Mm-hmm.
On that night, the length of the night decreases by 1/9, so the night becomes 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. Then the sun, returning and entering the second gate, which is the east, resumes its appearances for 30 mornings, rising and setting as usual.
All right, so 11th month, 2nd month of winter, 30 days. Well, it's not the second. I got to change that. The 2nd month of what we call winter in modern day society. 30 days. So if we follow that pattern, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, then the 12th month, without reading, we should know it should have 31 days. And we should know that it will be the 3rd gate.
On that day, the night becomes shorter, so the night becomes 10 parts and the day 8 parts. On that day, the sun, departing from this second gate and setting in the west, returns to the east and rises through the 3rd gate for 31 days and sets in the western sky. Or did I skip something?
3rd gate. So we're in the 12th month, 3rd gate, 31 days. So this is what it should look like. Let me see, put a little closer, you can see. It should be 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31. It should start with your 4th gate, the major gate, in the 1st month, and it should go 4th, 5th, 6th, then 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, then 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and it should end in that 3rd month. And now we're going to figure out how we find when the month starts. When the year starts. Go ahead. Because to know when the year starts, you got to know when the year ends. How do you know when a year ends? What is going to be the signs to let you know a year is ending? Tom Shee?
On that day, the sun, departing from this second, what was it, 3rd gate?
You're in the 3rd gate.
Okay, next. On that day, the night shortens and becomes 9 parts, and the day 9 parts.
All right, so if it's parts, I don't care how much a part is. We know it's 9 and 9. Now, That's like saying 12 hours and 12 hours. Equal day and equal night. That's the equilux. This is what we're looking for, because this day where you have equal day and equal night, where you're coming out of the cold, the night is shrinking, because that's what they had the summer the winter solstice, because that's the longest night. And then after that, the night shrinks every day. That's the solstice. The equiluxes is when you have the equal days and equal nights. You have those across a line, and then you have the solstice across the line. If you have a circle like this, when you hit these points, this is just say this is a clock, this is the calendar moving. Well, when you start here, equilux. Keep going, keep going, keep going. 6 months, another equilux. Hit up here, solstice. Down there, solstice.
Then the night becomes equal with the day, and the days of the year add up to exactly 364 days.
All right. So if you add this up, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31. If you do the math, sit there, I'm not great with math, so don't ask me to do it in my head. But if you get it calculated and you add it up, guess what? It's going to be 364 days. That's 2 witnesses now. You have Enoch, they ripped it out, threw it out. We don't want to deal with that. Jubilees, ripped it out. Deal with that. But what they did do is take the information in there and they helped create what we call a Holy Bible. See, it wasn't like we were walking around with a Holy Bible and a tablet, with a big tablet called, the Holy Bible is a big rock like this. Talking about the Holy Bible. It didn't work that way. They had to comprise from all these different Sefer writings, including Torah and all that, and the prophets and all that. And they had to compile it and put it into what they call a Holy Bible. And then they decided even some of that is too much and they took it out. Well, who's deciding that? Hebrews not deciding that. The people that want to control Hebrews, and you control the Hebrews, you control the world. All right.
The lengths of the day and the night, as well as the shortness of the day and night, are determined by the course of the circuit of the sun and distinguished by it. The circuit becomes longer or shorter day by day and night by night, respectively. Thus, this is the order for the course of the movement and the settlement of the sun, that great luminary which is called the sun, for the duration of years of the universe in respect to its going in and coming out.
For its duration of the years of the universe. It means as long as that sun, remember he said, I will cause the sun to not shine and the moon not to shine no more. He won't need it no more because the temple will be the light. Well, until we get to that point, this is what is going to follow. 364, just like that. And this is what we're supposed to follow.
The circuit becomes longer or shorter day by day and night by night, respectively. Thus, this is... Oh, I read that.
Yeah.
It is that very luminary which manifests itself in its appearance as Yahweh has commanded that it shall come out and go in this manner.
So it's following orders, doing what Yahweh said do. Go ahead.
And neither does it diminish in respect to its brightness, nor take rest, but continue to run day and night. As for the intensity of its light, it is sevenfold brighter than that of the moon. Nevertheless, the sun and the moon are equal in regards to their respective sizes.
All right. So way thousands of years ago, they understood that the sun and moon is the exact same size. How else can you have these eclipses? They got to tell you it's billions of miles away so that it could just perfectly... Nah, right. It don't add up. They're the same exact size. Now, you can believe African thought, which was written, ancient writings, or you can believe European thought, which tells you that they smarter than us, that they know more, that their science and their technology is so great. By the way, the technology they stole from us, and follow that Greek thinking. All of that is to give you confusion, to keep you further away from the truth. So we broke it down simple, stupid. Usually we go real in depth and so that you can really figure out, you can be trapped in a cave and come out and just use Enoch chapter 72 and you'll be able to find out what day of the week it is, what day of the year it is, where you are, what season, everything. Just by simply tracking the sun and see how it's moving and feeling, how does it feel outside? Is it getting warmer? Is it getting colder? What's happening? So now you have your setup. So now what we need to do is figure out, how do we know where these equiluxes are? So what I did this year was a little bit different. Usually I do it based on our local But I did it based on Jerusalem because this is where I'm trying to head. I'm looking at Jerusalem. Now, obviously, I can't do my Shabbats according to Jerusalem because it's still sun out where I'm at. But when it talks about bringing in the new year, it's going to be, Yah's eyes is over there. His eyes ain't over here. His eyes is over there. So this is why we went there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you there's a website called Time and Date. Time and Date. Now, if I was in Jerusalem, I'd be able to track this by eye and try to, calculate, but I'm not there. So I can only do the best that I can do. And majority of the people over there are not using this type of methodology. They're Jewish. You can't even go over there claiming Mashiach. They will kick you out. You got to accept Judaism and be a non-believer in order to enter into the country. So I wouldn't trust what the government of them is saying. But Time and Date will show you a sun calculator, and a moon calculator will tell you how much hours of day and how much hours of night you have by basically the sunrise and the sunset. So I'm going to put this up on the screen so you can see it. And do me a favor, if you're online, let me know that you can see this go ahead and get your regular calendar. You got your 2021 calendar. And you're going to circle Tuesday, March 16th. That's going to be your Hebrew New Year. Now you go back to your matrix. You know, in the first month of Abib, there's 30 days. So if Tuesday, the night of March 16th is day 1, then that you need to count that as 1. So March 16 would be 1. March 17 would be 2. And I want you to get me all the way to the 30th day. That will be the last day of the month. The next day is going to be the beginning of your second month. So let's count that out. And when you get there, count out the 30 days. And if you're watching and if you're brave, go ahead and comment what is going to be the night, the new month of the second month. All right. So you're getting 30 days. So if we count it together, March 16th, that's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 would bring you to April 16th, the next day after that. Oh, wait a minute. This thing is cut off. Okay. I see what you're saying. 3, 10, 17. All right. So our calendar, we printed out, messed up. Forgive us. So we're going to start over 16th. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So what day do you arrive at, brother?
You said it's the day after the 30th?
Right. The 30th would be the 30th. The 15th. So April 15th, that is going to be your new month for the second month. That's going to be your new month for the second month. So now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to say April 18th. That's going to be the first day of the second month. How many days you have in the second month?
We said the 18th is going to be?
I'm sorry, the 15th. The 15th is going to be the beginning of your second month. So how many days are you going to have in your second month? You're going to have 30 days. Because remember, it's a pattern. 30, 30, 31. 30, 30, 31. And you got to fix this because it's cut off on the side. So you got to write a number next to each one so you don't miss counting days.
Right.
Because basically the Sabbath is cut off. You see how that caused confusion? All right. So your second month started April 15th. So if it started April 15th, that will be day 1. You're going to have 30 days. You have 30 days. And then right after that, the 30 days, the next day is where you're going to have it. What day did you arrive at?
The 15th of May.
And you have it again, the 15th of May. So that's going to be the beginning of your third month. So circle that. This is how you're getting your calendar together. All right, so how many days are in your third month?
31.
31. So now you got to do the same thing, and you're counting from the 15th being the first day. So you have to count 15th as day 1, 16th as day 2, 31 days. What day are you getting at?
The 15th.
15th again. June 15th. That's the beginning of your fourth month. So your fourth month is the beginning of your summer. So you're going to have 30 days in the fourth month. So you're counting from June 15, with June 15 being day 1, 30 days. So from June 15th, that's 1, June 16th, 2, June 17th, 3. You count so forth and so on until you get to the 30th day. When you get to the 30th day, the day after that is going to be your new month. What day are we arriving at?
The 15th of July.
15th of July. So July 15th, that's going to be beginning your fifth month. Your fifth month, again, has 30 days. So you're going to do the same thing in the fifth month. And when you count that, you should get to you should get to August. August 14th. And when you look at the day of the week, you're even going to see a pattern with the days of the week. You got Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. You're seeing patterns here. So from August 14th, you're going to count, because that's the sixth month. How many days is in that? 31 days. So from August 14th, you're going to count August 14th as day 1 till you get to 31 days. And then when you get to 31 days, the next day after that is going to be your new month of the 7th month. That's going to be trumpets. That's going to be Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Trumpets is the first day of the 7th month. So that's the easiest holy day to find. Because all you got to do is find the 7th month, and there it is. There's your trumpets. So that brings you to September 14th. That will start your 7th month. 7th month, 30 days. Count again from September 14th, 30 days forward. The day after is going to be your new month. That brings you to October 14th. And, if this is a little bit fast, just go back. Watch it. Watch it later. Rewind it. This is a shorter class. We usually go real in depth in this. Take you all day, hours to get into this, because these things have significance. All right, so from October 14th, you're going to count another 30 days. That's going to bring you to November 13th. November 13th. And notice the pattern. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So your new months are always going to fall on those days. And then, of course, the 9th month, where you're getting ready to go into your winter time, that is going to be, once again, 31 days. So 31 days from there is going to bring you into December 13th.
It's 13th or 14th?
It should bring you to the 13th. So it's 31 days.
That's a Monday.
So November.
Let me count it again.
14th, excuse me. Yeah, December 14th. That's a Tuesday. You see?
Yeah.
So it should bring you to December 14th. So if you count from the 13th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Brings you right back to a Tuesday. And December 14th, once again, you have 30 days in that month. Got to make sure you count all the 31s and all that stuff in there. All right, so this is how you calculate your dates. This is how you can know how many days are in your month. It's based upon Enoch. Now, there's other witnesses. You're going to have constellations that are going to show only during that month, that are going to be the leading constellations. You also have the moon, which is going to give you, which when we discuss the moon, is going to give you also witnesses as well. It's going to have certain phases at the beginning of each year. The phase is going to change because once again, the moon is 10 days behind. So it can't have the same phase starting the year. So it's going to change like a clock in a 7-year pattern. And based upon the moon phase that starts the year is going to tell you what number year you're in the Hebrew 7-year cycle. And when you have the, for the beginning of every season, you're going to have the same moon phase. It's going to be in the same little section of the moon that you had in the beginning of the year. It's going to be the same for every season as a reminder of what year you're in. So this is the basics. Again, you can go over it, take a look at this, see how this works out. And if you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to us. We're one of the few people that will actually teach the calendar and put it on tape. If we make any errors, we want people to show, hey, something's wrong, because we're just trying to figure out the right thing to do. And if we read or misunderstood something, bring it out. Produce your cause, produce your evidence. If it stands true, if it's mathematic and it works, hey, there may be something we're doing wrong. But everything that we showed you is mathematic. It works out perfect. It's a pattern that you can follow that's identical to what's written in the ancient scriptures, written in the Sefer, written in the book of Enoch, written in Jubilees, written in Torah. All these things come together. It's just when they translate, and now you're reading it from English, and English decides, oh, Hodesh means moon, means month, moon, month, same thing. Nah, it's not the same thing. Every other language, even in Greek, you have Selene for moon versus Mane for month. Two different words. Hebrew, you have Yerach or Yeriach for moon, Hodesh for month. Every other language is two different words. Now you come in English, now all of a sudden moon, month mean the same thing. That's confusion. So that's all we're going to do today. I hope this helped you figure some things out. Again, if you have any questions, reach out. We'll be more than happy to share stuff. We have visuals. We have all kind of things that we'll go into once we get into a deeper class. All right, let's go ahead and close in prayer.